Well, there's Carly.
Hi, sorry. Just finishing my lunch up, and I thought I had 2 minutes, but I only have one.
Don't worry about it. It's just fine. We're in no particular rush, and we'll see who else actually is able to. With these monthly meetings, it doesn't stay as as top of mind as the more frequent meetings. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead.
so the term, remember somebody had said, "Oh, we should add the term," or they had a good definition, and we should add the term for cryptographic binding. And then I was like, "Oh, you know what? I should do a video about cryptographic binding. What it means to be cryptographically bound."
I wrote. I remember writing a note about that, but did I put it in?
There, because they had two, yeah, he had a nice definition. I remember seeing
It
that.
was Andrew Hughes.
Okay.
Andrew Hughes, exactly. And he had
Can we,
two definitions
yeah,
of
yeah, two
binding.
terms. Yeah.
So
So
yes,
I'd like to get his definitions, and I thought that might be a nice bite-sized trust video.
two terms. I think you're right about binding. Yes. Um, I actually am schedule a follow, excuse me, with Andrew on tomorrow afternoon. So
Okay.
I can you know what? I could short circuit that. I tell you what, since um I have a signal channel with him, I'll say, hey Andrew, I'm talking with uh, uh of the TP concept and we want to include your definitions. Oh, it was cryptographic binding?
Uh, one was cryptographic binding, and I can't remember, or it was how how to bind things or something like that.
In your the workshop demonstration. Talk in the TP glossary. Share that. With us. Okay. I I'm not taking the time to actually create a separate shared signal channel. I just said, hey, it because he had them right there. If he could just send them over,
Yeah.
we get them.
Yeah.
As soon as he answers, I will share them with you, and then I'll add them to the list of. I swear, I've got it's over 100 terms that either need new terms or additional, tweaking. And I've been putting it off and putting it off, putting it off just until we get the bandwidth to make these, because the tooling is there now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
doing the
I
actual work.
I should do another. I've got tons and tons of script ideas. I'm gonna need to start trimming, deleting a bunch.
Yeah, focusing in on
Oh, there we go. I have binding of the did to the holder. And that is then where I can talk about binding to the device, or binding to something that you know, or binding to um, biometric data.
and that's what he has already
Yeah.
gotten back to me and said, hey, yeah, he's got them, so he's just gonna put them over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally agree. They should go in there. Those are going to be great terms. And well, interesting. I was thinking I don't really do much prep for this call now because I'm like, okay, let's just talk. We talk about
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
we did talk about. Um, but ironically, as you know, the DTG glossary is large enough now. I've been thinking, what all these terms just go in the trust and repeat glossary, and I'm like, yeah, there are some that are more general, but there's a fair number that are, DTG they,
Specific.
yeah, well, yes, they make the most sense in the decentralized trust graph context. So
But,
go ahead.
but are you sure it makes the most sense to pull them out? Because the reason I say that is because it's okay if glossaries get really big.
I So you have just completed the other half of the sort of dialogue
Sorry.
that's been going on in my head, which is like, because the argument you can make in that favor is like, well, all of trust over IP is, we have a decentralized trust graph working group because this is one of the powerful things you can do with a trust over IP stack. So yeah, I mean, in fact, I found myself, ironically, after the workshop, leaning in that direction, more so than I was before, because I'm like, yeah, this thing is going to tie into everything else we're doing. So, which of course would make it a little bit easier because then we just say, okay, let's just get all these terms in the glossary. We can always, of course, with spec up T, you can always pick the subset of terms you want to publish in
Yeah.
any specific glossary.
Yeah. There is something to be said for keeping it in a pool. One
Yeah,
place to look.
yeah, especially yes, and the acronyms and everything else. So,
Yeah.
uh, it's like it looks like you and I are
It.
the meeting here today, which
Yes.
which is fine. It means I'll get breakfast earlier, and you can finish lunch. But let me just ask, on a related, slight tangent, did you have any particular thoughts or feedback after the portions of the first person workshop that you were able to attend?
Yeah. Um, so I'm I missed when there was a decision about what are the discussing the business of what would be good to do with what would be a first place to start. I think the H2H, I think the conference app is a great place to start. I think the Linux kernel is another great place to start. And if I understand correctly, the third great place that was identified that took a little while, that was the discussion point, because when I was absent, it wasn't there, and when I came back, it was. And that was the on a personal level of contact management that could be mined. That's what my impression was of what it is, as opposed to let's build a social network, let's build a personal network.
Yes, I'm wondering about those last three words though. That could be mined. Um, what did you mean by that?
Sorry, what did I say?
You said a personal network that could be mined.
Mine
Oh,
personally.
okay.
But I also think it could be mined because if you set up a personal network of relationships, that's
Yes,
the start of a graph.
yes.
That's the raw data that could be used by other tools in order to say, oh, here are, we went out through your personal network and here are the recommendations where people like to buy these kinds of products.
100% agreed. I was just particularly sensitive because you add that D to the word, and
Yeah,
the majority of data mining going on today is
it's extractive.
exactly. So yes, we need a term for non-extractive data mining or intentional data or personal data, whatever.
Services.
Yeah, yeah. All good. And yes, you're right. Interesting enough, yeah, the big um I don't know, sort of conceptual alignment that took place was around this concept of the personal verifiable trust agent, the personal VTA. And there were just a set of us. I mean, you saw the diagram I was sharing from the first person white paper. There was a set of us that said, "Well, yeah, of course, it's the first person network, or that's the most important verifiable trust agent." And a set of folks that were there who had not been thinking about, they were just thinking about communities, right? And that people
Yeah.
just connect to communities, and that's how. And it's defensible. There's not really anything that's wrong with that. It just is not nearly as powerful. Well,
Yep.
you're absolutely right that once that big aha took place and the whole architectural diagram was drawn up of, well, what does a personal verifiable trust agent look like? Everyone's aligned on that. And so
Yeah.
now what that means in terms of focus and milestones is still, you know, still being discussed.
This
But
meeting is being recorded, FYI,
I know, and
which is fine. Just
I,
I'm aware
I'm
of that as well.
exactly, I'm fully aware of that, and it's like, well, this is all, it's an extension, ironically, of decentralized trust graph. I will say something, just because I've actually told this story a couple times, including you heard me talk about it there. That whole aha took place because of the terminology situation that we had identified the need to be very specific about these things in the DTG glossary that we put together, right?
Yeah.
Which is still, for the record, a Google Doc. We need to, well, if we're
Get
deciding
it
we're going to
over.
bring it in, we're just going to bring it in.
Oh, can you use ChatGPT to do the formatting?
Oh my God, yes, I'm almost certain we could do that
Because it
because
does a pretty good job of text formatting with models. And
that
then you don't have to.
and it's perfect. I mean, when I started creating the Google Doc, I was definitely thinking about that because I'm like, look, it's very simple to structure a glossary doc and get all the cross references. So, wow, I wonder if that seems highly doable because all the cross references in Google Doc, if they get converted into,
Yep.
oh, whoa, my head's exploding because I'm going, if that would work for that doc, all I need to do is take all the other terms in my list that currently is in OneNote, put those in Google Doc in the same format,
Yep.
potentially even that same. Well, anyway, I just get another
Save
one
your
to,
prompt. Save your prompt, and then
and then just have it. Oh, that's brilliant. That could
oh,
save us
and
a bunch of
ton
time.
of time. And the other thing, I saw somebody had it there, and I was like, oh, I've read this and I keep forgetting it, is that you give ChatGPT a persona by which to do the action. So say you are a careful attention to detail computer scientist who is specialized in precise syntax, and
Hmm.
you are going to then do this according to such and such. And apparently, that by giving it a role, it does a much better job. And then you won't get you'll yeah. Anyway,
Isn't that fascinating?
I know it's not so intuitive, but you're
In some
that's what you're.
ways, in some ways, it is intuitive because the hardest problem in much of computing is context.
It's context, yeah.
So you give it the context and then it just, just
Does
constrains
it?
it, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it's like this context, referring to my background, it's like everybody
yeah,
knows what they do in this context, right?
yeah,
Constrains things. That is a really, really that's brilliant because that way, what could be good is we could um if I took all the other terms and again just did the Google Doc thing,
yep.
we could
Edit
you,
it
me,
quick.
yeah, yeah, we could edit it, or we could put it on, we could literally put in all the sort of cross references, not maybe all of them, but a bunch of them that we would need. And
Yep,
then bingo, we just get all the
yep,
PRs. And then once it's assembled, it's a lot easier then to go in and review them and add the other,
yep,
cross refs that we need, or
yep.
just refs. Yeah, at that point. Wow, brilliant. Ha!
Yeah.
That
I
is the best
do a
idea of
lot
the
of
day.
data manipulation for text data manipulation. So I've been using that as a tool in order to, or to give myself data files for test runs of testing the what we've developed, stuff like that.
Yes, I
So, and
I'm a,
save the prompt. So work on engineering the prompt
right.
and then save it because then you just reapply the same prompt.
Reapply it. Yeah. Anytime you have to have another
Yeah.
glossary going in.
Oh, the other thing that I was going to say that I took away from that meeting and how
Yeah.
and also how this fits in with trust over IP is we kind of I'm not it's fuzzy in my mind about how it actually would work, but I have the sense that we have now two approaches to trust. To two approaches to evaluating a reputation in order to make an estimation of trust. And the first one is going to be the trust registries, where you have a centralized authority by which, you're like, I acknowledge that authority, and therefore, and this is the list of who they trust.
Yeah,
And then you have a decentralized method, which is where I go and collect votes through my trust graph, weighting those that are closer and weighting less that are further, in order to build a personalized trust registry based on who I connect with.
I like that term, you personalized, or it's almost like a virtual trust registry. But
Yeah.
yes, uh, absolutely. And just for the record,
Yeah.
we're recording this meeting, that decentralized way I mean, now it's easier to talk about now in a trust graph model, right? That's why
Yep.
but it's always been, inherent in the model we're building with trust over IP to say it does not, we don't have to depend just on centralized registries.
Hmm.
Even if,
However,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry, when you think about, you've seen people getting shitty advice. It also means your your stuff
Yeah.
is only going to be as good as your network.
Now, the upside to that is it gives everyone an incentive to improve their network, right?
I
To
think it gives everyone the incentive to find other people who are saying what they want to say until one day their wallet cannot afford it anymore.
No, that's a good point. And you're right.
Sorry, I have lost a lot of faith in the judgment of humanity.
That's also true. Of course, if you are, you know, if you can select the nodes that you
Yep.
want to contribute to, um, you know, uh, whatever decision you're trying to make, or whatever trust judgment you're trying to make,
Yep.
that is a powerful. That's actually one of the Brad DeGraff, who you saw was an in-person participant for the
Hmm.
first 2 days. He was the original one, proposing that he called it. It was basically literally a community voting mechanism. It's since been more widely um, recognized in other terms like sociocracy or liquid democracy or stuff like that. He called it smartocracy, and it was just all about, hey, for this particular decision, it's a classic thing. You get a basically a number of votes, right? All the voters get a number of votes, and you can allocate them to anyone you want. You can vote them all yourself, or you can distribute them to the proxies, or who you trust to. So
Right.
it's not a complex idea, but he had implemented the software for it, and they used it in a number of places. I always thought that's a really
Hmm.
really smart way to tap. Now it all comes down to, yeah, it's not foolproof, because folks that want to vote to go a certain way, even if that would be the wrong decision, but they have their own reasons for doing it,
Yeah.
can try and influence others to give their votes. So it doesn't
Yep.
change the politics.
Of
Um,
people.
yeah, but what it does is it does change the voting power, because uh, you can more easily, the different points of view, if folks, um, you can aggregate votes around particular points of view in a way that will make it clear how the community really feels about something. Um, yeah, doesn't mean they're going to
Yeah.
make the right vote, but
Yeah.
anyway, it's a classic use of a sort of who do you trust for what graph. Um, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, um, at at some point also then I can do a bite-sized trust video on every time Hank explains it and every time I forget about the X terms and the but I'm sure I can it always makes sense, so I will it just doesn't stick, but I can make a bite-sized trust video for that. I need to prioritize
Yes.
Um, what? Yeah, because right now in my fact checking is anchored. Zero knowledge proofs is ready for slide generation. Anchored signatures needs the last bit of fact checking and review. And then I've got a did.com script ready to go because everybody was, and from the meeting, I noticed how much people were very much on did.com. There's a lot of resistance to moving
You
from that.
you mean in the first person workshop?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would put it slightly differently, which is it's not that there's a lot of resistance, it's that there's a lot of momentum to the
Did.com.
implementations I have of DIDCOM.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
And I'd love to get from Wenjing at some point. I can write a thing, but I'd like to release something about did.com and then cryptographic binding. And I can write um, yeah, maybe I can do a video or two about the concepts and terminology side of things.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's all kinds of, as we get this glossary mature and bring this stuff in, I think you're going to have all kinds of stuff there. Okay,
Yeah.
Andrew just in real time shared his presentation, so perfect. And
Okay.
I'll
So
tell him
that'll have,
I will share that with Carly now, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, so unfortunately, there's no way to, I think if I hit forward on that, is that going to do it? I'm going to see here. Hang on. I've never tried forwarding uh, an attachment, but I'm going to see if this works. Yes, that should
if
work.
it's an
So,
email, it usually does.
well, no,
Oh,
I'm
oh, here.
email. I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing it in
Yeah,
Signal,
I got it. I got it.
and it worked. It worked. It's just regular forwarding. So
Okay.
he said the wording he uses in that presentation.
Okay. Good.
So
I
there
can
you
get
have
that
it.
from there.
All righty. Well, I
Good.
think we can declare victory on this meeting. We actually got some important work of the concept and terminology working group done. We have a brilliant idea now for how we will consolidate everything. And I actually will talk to Martina about that later. Well, given she's in Zurich, it'll probably be tomorrow. But
Yeah.
I think that's really, really a good idea.
Yeah.
And once we get it consolidated, then we can just focus on what terms we need to tweak or what do we want to help do bite-sized trust videos about.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you so
Okay.
much, and you can
Talk to you
finish your lunch
later.
now. You bet. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
Bye.